Ah, yes, folks, here we go again. Another jihadi wants to go home. This time it's Mark Taylor, aka Kiwi Jihadi, who wants to come back to New Zealand. Have a look at this.
Kia ora, good evening. A former New Zealand soldier who burnt his Kiwi passport to join ISIS has been told our government won't help him get new travel documents in Syria. Mark John Taylor is well known for posting images of himself with weapons on social media, and he's now given an interview from a Syrian jail. He's classified as a global terrorist by the United States and is nicknamed the Bumbling Jihadist after, among other things, repeatedly tweeting with his iPhone's tracking function still on, alerting intelligence agencies to his exact location. Taylor, originally from Hamilton, is being held in a prison in the northeastern Syrian city of Qamishli, right near the border with Turkey. Here's political editor Jessica Mackay with what he's got to say and reaction from the government.
New Zealander Mark Taylor escorted through a prison in northern Syria. The man from Hamilton who became a mouthpiece for ISIS, urging Kiwis and Australians to fight, surrendering as the caliphate crumbles.
There was no food, there was no money.
Oh, there was no food, there was no money. Oh, we feel so sorry for you, Mark.
Basic services were pretty much collapsed. I was in a pickle myself.
He's known as the Bumbling Jihadi for accidentally giving away the location of Islamic State fighters on Twitter. To prove himself, he was told to make a video urging ISIS sympathisers to strike.
Even if it means you have to stab a few police officers or soldiers on Anzac Day, so be it. And you want to come back here? You've got to be kidding.
In the interview, he says he was forced to do it and knows it'll cost him years behind bars. 5 years ago, the former New Zealand Army soldier said he'd gladly die for ISIS.
I am the New Zealander known as Mark John Taylor.
But now he claims he was a border guard, not a fighter, and never shot anyone.
Guarding, you don't need to plan anything, but attacking, you need to make preparations.
So guarding, you don't need to plan anything, but attacking, you need to make preparations. And there's a difference. How? You were still fighting for ISIS, you dimwit.
Says he witnessed atrocities though.
They had a lady they take out of a truck and they shoot her in the back of the head.
The 45-year-old converted to ISIS while living in Brisbane and headed to Syria 5 years ago. When asked about regrets, Mr. Taylor says he wished he'd had a female slave.
So his only regret is not having a female slave. My God.
Captured women were sold in markets.
Oh, we'd like to have one, but never got to. Yes. Like, to buy a slave, you're looking at minimum $4,000.
Oh, to buy a slave, you're looking at a minimum of $4,000.
American, just to buy an older woman, at least past...
Just to buy an older woman, at least past 50.
50 years old. And to buy a decent one at $10,000 or $20,000, they range from prices from up to $4,000 up to $50,000.
So to buy a decent one, you had to pay $10,000, $20,000, up to $50,000. My God, that must have been hard for you at those cattle auctions. This guy is so wrong on so many levels.
Dollars American. I didn't have that type of money to throw around myself.
He's offered something of an apology.
I'm sorry for causing too much trouble and being a bit hot-headed and flamboyant in my approach. I don't know if I can go back to New Zealand.
So can he?
We made very clear travel advice was do not travel to Syria because if you do, we cannot help you return.
Oh, she's so tough, isn't she?
We've made that clear. New Zealand does not have a presence in Syria. We have no connection with the forces detaining those currently in Syria.
The US is urging its allies to take back and prosecute around 800 captured ISIS fighters. More may appear. It's now an issue for the Prime Minister to grapple with.
And Jessica joins us now live. We heard from the Prime Minister a moment ago. Jess, explain why this is such a tricky situation for the government.
Well, on one hand, Mark Taylor is a New Zealand citizen. He doesn't have dual citizenship anywhere else. So you can't strip him of citizenship and leave him stateless. It's a basic human right.
No, I'm sorry, this guy's lost his human rights. He can stay exactly where he is.
But on the other hand, he's on this terror list. He shouldn't have been in Syria in the first place. And the closest location for consulate support is in Turkey. So he'd have to make contact with them to even be able to get those emergency travel documents to get.
Right, so let's go back and have a look at the map. So Kiwi Jihadi is there and Turkey is just across the border. So it's not very difficult at all for him to get back there and get his emergency travel documents and get home. Yes, folks, so Jacinda Ardern talks tough, but in reality, there's nothing stopping this guy getting back to New Zealand.